Merry Meet Internet. I am Bat Paradigm. I'm Spider Paradigm's partner in crime. She's letting me borrow her channel this evening to show you out there how to make an Ashanti Stool. Now, an Ashanti Stool is a relic of the Ashanti tribe from Africa. They live in what's modern-day Ghana. And legend has it that an Ashanti Stool is the seat of the soul. And we saw a great little craft project where you can make a miniature one, which I thought would be just perfect for an altar, kind of an all-season kind of thing. They're beautiful, and we're going to get started right now. So, first thing you need...
I'm going to put a link to the website down in the description below.
Okay. To get started with, we've got our supplies here. Tacky glue. It's your friend. We have a 4.5 by 9.5 inch slat. It's about a 1/4 inch thick. Get it at a craft store. Craft sticks. You got 2 jumbo size ones. These are about 6 inches long. And then you've got the regular size popsicle sticks. And there are 17 of those. That's how many it takes. I have 4 antique clothespins and 8 clothespin holders. That way we can build a nice strong foundation for our stool. We can have them on the top and the bottom. And as you notice, we kind of got started without you guys. These pieces have already been painted. They've been painted with gold paint, just regular paint. You can get it at a store, wherever.
Just like it. In the store, these are usually called clothespin dolls, and these clothespin doll stands.
Is that not what I said?
You said antique clothespins.
Ew. Well, okay, they're just retro. But anyway, so we have all of our pieces assembled, and they've been painted gold. This is just one coat of gold, something to give it a little bit of luster. Nothing too terribly fancy. The exception is the top of the stool, we did a second coat, so it's got a nice luminous sheen to it. Now, the website where you're going to see this has a little picture that you can print out to put a design on the top of your Ashanti stool. Now, you don't have to use that design. In fact, I'm the only person in the family who's going to be using that design. So, anyway. But, as you can see, already got that printed out. I just love the design. I liked it. Simple geometrics here, and this little fancy bit in the middle. So, this has been sized on the computer to be 4.5 by 9.5, just like the slat. So we're going to put it on here and just kind of do it by feel and make sure that we're, properly lined up. So I want this to look centered. We're not going to be like fanatic about it, but I want it to look nice for everybody. Now, yes, I'm left-handed. Going to start just a normal ballpoint pen. And because this is a softwood, we are going to trace over everything to start with so that we're transferring the pattern. So you're going to want to bear down nice and hard so you can make an indentation on the wood below. Do these. Now, you don't have to, like I said, do these particular patterns. I just thought they looked cool. You can do Celtic knotwork, for example. You can have a string of runes going up and down the sides. You can leave it blank, and just have the whole thing completely blank if you really want to. Remember, that is the nice thing about the paganism. There are no firm rules. What I think might be a neat idea for those of you who are looking for inspirations on how to personalize your Ashanti stools would be to put maybe a god and a goddess symbol on either side and a pinnacle in the middle. That's one way to go. You could also do astrological signs if that's something you respond to. Power runes if you're into the whole runey business. Or just anything that really resonates with you. And that's of course the important thing. It has to be something that resonates with you. see, I'm not exactly sure why this particular symbol here resonates with me, but I really can't get it out of my head since first seeing the idea for this project, so that's why I decided to go with just what they had on the website. I don't want you guys to think I'm all unoriginal or conformist or anything. Because, you know, pagans that live in the South are known for their conformity. And there we go. Let's see how we did. I don't know if you can pick this up. I'm going to try to tilt it into the glare, but I have a pretty heavy hand normally, so I think it turned out rather well.
You can see it in the camera.
Cool. I'm rather happy with it. And, you know, this wasn't perfect. I didn't get a ruler out or do. It doesn't have to be. One of the reasons why is we are using a fairly thick paint marker. This is a medium grade marker, so it will cover all manner of sins as far as precision goes while we work on that. So, getting this ready to go. Now, this is the first time I've actually used a paint marker.
You want to try it on the...
Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's see. And that's what it does. See, it's got a tip that just kind of bounces in, and it makes a pretty thick mark. So,
let me show you. Okay, you don't want to really push it in because that makes the paint come out real. That's how you get it started.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is just...
Okay. Thank you for showing me that.
You're welcome.
Now, another important thing to remember is, you know, I'm left-handed, so I'm going to be starting on the right and working my way left. If you're right-handed, you should start on the left and work your way right. The important thing is, don't double back when you're dealing with a paint marker, or you might get a glorious smudge over your pretty gold background, and nobody wants a glorious smudge. So, just going to get started here a little bit, and yeah, this is no pressure at all, really, and it's still coming out really nice. I am pleased. Let me go ahead and do the center one here. This is a project that was originally found for children to do. So, one of the nice things about doing children's projects, if you don't have a lot of crafting experience, because I certainly don't, is that they're pretty forgiving. They're pretty simple, and they go by pretty fast. They're a good way to cut your teeth before trying some really fancy things, you know. Now I'm going to double back, because like I said, I don't want to get to a point where I start going over with my hand where I've already been. And so I'm going to go ahead and start filling in. And this is just like first grade, just try to stay within the lines. Also, I'm doing this really lightly. I'm just trying to make sure I fill it in and get it even, because this is paint. This is something we're trying to get ready for the full moon coming up. It's going to be on Friday. So, and Spider's doing a Book of Shadows dedication. I'm going to be doing my own thing that I might talk about on another video, and dedicating my little Ashanti stool here. So, busy week here in the Paradigm household. Or would that be the household paradigm? I guess it depends, doesn't it?
I guess.
There you go.
It's looking really good.
Thank you. Sorry, I had to change my angle a little bit here. Nothing wrong with that, because it's a lot easier to do straight vertical lines than horizontal ones. And I want this to turn out nice. So it's another thing you can do. If you find yourself having to double back, like I said before, you tried to work from one side to the other, but you find that you have to go back, flip it around. And that should minimize the potential for smudging. Nobody wants some smudging. Just doing a little touch-up work, so I want to make sure that the line on the outside looks kind of solid.
Looks really good.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
And this is a nice solid color, and we used a very light base. Even though it's 2 coats of the gold, you should not have to go back over any of these black lines. So, this is your one stop on this particular move. And so these do not make perfect squares here by any far stretch of the imagination. I'm not going for that. I'm just going for fun. It's got a bit of kinetic energy to it. It's nice. I want to do a little bit more. There we go. And the symbol is symmetrical like that, so doesn't matter which way you end up doing this, which way you want to put it, whatever. And we are done with that particular tool. Now it's time to get on to the gluing. Gluing some stuff together. Got our tacky glue here. Yay, so we're just gonna put some on the foots. Slide it in place there. Now, if I remember correctly, this stuff dries clear, so you don't have to worry terrible much about overage or whatever. If it bothers you, like to no end, to have that, even though it's clear, you could always touch it up with the gold paint at the very end. But we're not going to worry about that right now. We're going to get going here. And then, you know, when you're getting them in there, try to make sure they stand up straight. It will make getting the pieces to fit much easier later on. You know. A little glue. Got a little paint on the base there in it. There we go. I'm not going to worry about it because, like I said, it dries clear. So, there we go. That's what we're starting with here. This is our, these are our legs. Now, I have these pieces here, and they're going to actually fit on the top as top pieces. Now, because that's kind of a ball at the top, they kind of work around loose. So, I'm not going to put those on right yet. We're going to build a bit more of a stable foundation before we start messing with those. Okay. Get our jumbo pieces. And now you can see why we're using these instead of just wooden dowels, is we need the slat. Yes! Like that. We don't have to be perfect here. So, what do you think would be easier to do? Put the glue on the stick or put the glue in between the clothespins?
Stick.
Stick. I think you're right. So, I'm going to paint a stripe inside where I put the pin.
Of your kids.
Yep. And then I'm going to slide the clothespin on. Now, the clothespin is wider than the stick is thick, obviously. So it's really only going to glue on one side, which is why I only put glue on one side. I'm not really worried about the other one terribly much. So, get that stuck on there. And again, it's going to leak out the sides a bit. Don't worry about it. It dries clear. It's not a problem. Okay. So, that's one. And then we're just going to do the same thing on the other side. Now, to save time on these, when I did the second coat, I just kind of put them all in a row and slapped paint on them. So they stuck together just a little bit. So I'm shuffling them up right now. It's okay, because they're popsicle sticks, you know? Alright, so take a popsicle stick, and again, I'm just going to kind of play it by ear here. That looks good. By eye, match the distance on these and looking down on it and making sure we're more or less even here. Now, put a little glue. Take my handy dandy stick. Put it on there. So I got the length and width and stuff that I'm happy with. Get it in place. And yeah, I'm putting the glue on the jumbo stick because I'm not exactly sure where it lines up on the regular size stick. You good?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so I got the two on the outside done first, just to make sure I've got everything measured up properly. And like I said, I put the glue on the jumbo stick. And once again, to do the ones on the inside, we're going to put the glue on the jumbo stick. Just a little bit around everywhere. So remember, good rule of thumb, when building the shelf on the bottom here, the glue always goes on the jumbo stick. Now, you can already tell that we're not fitting all these sticks over here. Yes, ma'am. See, we need to hold out 6 of these sticks. 6 of the regular size sticks do not go here. So, go ahead and separate those out. I kind of pre-measured this by eye when I first got the sticks and everything before anything was painted. So, this last one might be a little hard to get in place without a little pucker here, unfortunately. Let's see. There we go. Glue's already dried a little bit on there. Oh. While it's still just a little damp, try to get those pieces lined up as best as I can. So, there we go. That's our base. Now we're going to take our top piece here, carefully, without destroying it, move the base over. Take our top piece and get these out of the way too. Going to add the arms, for lack of a better word, of the stool. And we're going to do that with these popsicle sticks. Now you notice these are 4.5 inches. They're exactly the same length as our board. Also, by the way, you know, if there we go, a little line there. If you get a different sized slat, it doesn't really change the directions. It might change the measurements some, but you know, it's nothing huge to worry about. We've got a second stripe of blue on the outside half of that stick, and then we're going to glue that right there. We're making a little step. And we're going to do that one more time. If I can get the glue out. Here we go. With gluing. Just one little last piece to do. Right there. Kind of messed up here. Put the glue too much in the middle instead of on the end, so yeah. Be careful when you're just be careful when you're pressing down on the second and third one because they might tilt over like that one just did. So hopefully you will learn from my mistakes. Yes. All right, and that's the top. So our top piece is completed, and once the glue dries, remember it'll be clear, so don't panic. And here is our bottom piece already done. What I plan on doing here, so I'm just going to poke these on down. Like I said, these are not really even. I'm going to try to get them even by eye as best I can. And look on the inside and make sure that they're all level as well as being on an even keel there as much as possible. And I'm going to put the glue.
You might want to glue some inside too.
Yeah, a little glue on the inside there. These fit really tight, but
keep it from wobbling.
yeah, I want it to stay that way as time passes. So I want this to be a fairly permanent altar fixture. Otherwise, I would have saved myself a lot of trouble and built it out of poster board or cardboard. Which, again, is a viable option if you want to try that, especially if you're not, comfortable with heavy crafts, or you just don't have the space or the expense or whatever.
No,
like if
you didn't get one.
Nope, I didn't. Thank you.
Welcome.
Like if you live in a dorm and you might want to try, just a paper one. That way you don't have to worry if anything happens to it. It's paper. Whatever. The choice is yours. Okay. Now remember, there's no front or back to this. It looks the same either way. So,
you're a little far forward on this side.
There we go. Now, these bases go straight to the edge. As you can see here, it's the same on the other side of our slat. And then I just did those quick little hash marks to try to get it more or less in the middle. However, now that I've got it put together, I can see that the edges of these doll bases that we're using for our capitals on our columns, as it were, come pretty much to the edge in general of the design I have here. So, if you are using the same sized slat of wood that I am, and you use the same design like you can get on the thing, the measurement's already done for you. You just have to eyeball it, and it should turn out pretty much fine. So, there we are. This needs to dry for a little while, and then I'm going to look it over, and if I like the way it is, I'm just going to leave it. I might use a little more paint to touch it up, whatever. But there you go. This is an Ashanti stool, all ready to go. This is not an expensive project, and as you can see, it did not take a lot of time at all. So, from all of us here on Spider Paradigms channel, this is Bat Paradigms saying, blessed be, everybody.
Blessed